Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unscripted Access, episode number 123. You're here with your host, Nick McCandless. On this week's show, I have Anthony Taw.
Episode 123. Heck yes.
On April 1st.
Oh, man. All the news we're reading today could be a lie.
No, I have verified everything that we're talking about, guys. I have verified everything. So, no misleading here. Anthony, how has the April Fool's Day been for you?
It's been mostly peaceful. I am avoiding all news channels. You know, I'm avoiding every news channel out there. But Stretch has been surprisingly eventful. I wasn't pranked when I went out and bought stuff. I was pranked on when I backed up a car. When I backed up a car, I got pranked on. That wasn't. Ooh. I got scared pretty good. Safe to say. But yeah, pretty uneventful day. I spent most of it sleeping.
Must be nice.
Yeah. Get to sleep so that way I'm not awake for all the jokes. Woo.
That's smart. If I had that
that's
option
very
too,
smart.
I'd probably do it too. I'd probably just sleep during the day and be like, okay, that day's gone.
I am avoiding contact.
364 more days to have to deal with it again.
Yeah, and I'm avoiding contact with most people because the fact that it's April 1st.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, the day's been good.
Yeah, if you're like a gaming company or a news company, today is the worst day to like put out a press release or make any announcement.
Did you know Squaresoft and Enix actually announced their merger on April 1st? Everyone thought it was a joke. Yeah, that press release happened on April 1st. And then they found out it was true.
Yeah, that is the worst thing you can do, is release an actual announcement on April 1st. Like, that's just a big no-no. You don't do that. Because then you have to get your PR involved and make people believe that, hey, this is actually true, guys.
April 1st, 2003. That was the day.
That's funny.
That's the day Square became Square Enix.
Yeah, because it's just natural instinct. Like, you hear anything, you're like, is it April Fool's? Especially, like, a big announcement like that, you're like, yeah, no way. No way. That's happening. No way. So... But let's move on to the news.
Yes, news that actually exists.
Yes. I don't even think we're covering anything that was announced today, to be honest. So
yeah, well, there's some small news. Today's has been good, and the sale was not a lot. I got a new camera.
Oh, nice.
It's a camcorder. It's for our E3 stuff, interview stuff, because let's be honest, I'm pretty sure you listeners out there don't like watching our interviews recorded on a crappy cell phone camera. So I bought a camcorder. It is a Canon Vixia HF R500 that I got on a pretty awesome sale from Best Buy. It was $300. I got it for $210 with tax included. The reason why it is so cheap is because they are phasing out the R500s for the R600s, and I looked on the internet and found out that the only difference between the two is the R600 gets better battery life. That's it. That's all. That's all you're paying for, and I honestly would rather just like take the $100 and spend it on a second battery,
right?
The extra big battery. But yeah, $210 has a microphone in input, which is absolutely essential because we use handheld mics in the very busy environment of the Los Angeles Convention Center and the outdoors. Haven't really tested the camera yet because the cost, the savings you get compared to the R60 and R62 is that it has no built-in storage. The R60 and R62, only really big difference is comes with built-in flash memory, 8 or 32 gigabytes, and it has Wi-Fi NFC, which I found out is pretty useless for the most part. So it comes with no memory, and it doesn't come with a memory stick, so you have to buy your own memory stick, so technically I can't test it until I put an SD card into it. But yeah, it's pretty small. Has like 100 minutes of battery life according to little meter, and looks all right so far.
But even then, 100 minutes is, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is. That's 100 minutes of actually filming.
Yeah, of actually filming, which, 100 minutes is pretty darn awesome because, like, you'll be surprised how low 60 minutes can be sometimes. Because, when you're filming all day and you don't have a place to charge and these batteries take forever to charge, yeah, battery life is actually really important.
Yeah, it's always good to have a lot more than you need than to be like, oh crap, we have an interview in 20 minutes and the battery's dead.
Oh, I think that I think that almost happened with the Sony Handycam we were using there last year.
Oh yeah, that was close.
Yeah. As far as the build quality, well, it's a $300-ish camcorder. It's not too fancy. Plastic. The lens cover is manual, not automatic. It's not as nice as that Sony Handy. It's not as nice of a build as the Sony one that we had last year.
Right.
But it's like $300 when this thing was new in 2014. So hey, that's all right.
It's probably their entry model or second to entry model.
Yeah, Canon makes only like 3 types of camcorders, as far as I could tell. They make the R600, R60, and R62, which are all the same camera with different types of memory and maybe Wi-Fi. They have the G20, which is their near professional camcorder, and then there's their professional camcorder. And I noticed that a lot of companies do that now with their camcorders, because it used to be, oh, everyone wanted to buy a camcorder because, well, that was the only way you could capture video, but now that smartphones can do it, camcorders have kind of fallen a little bit.
And they can do pretty well, keep in mind, as long as there's good lighting and you aren't needing to use any external components or anything like that.
Man, this thing is already... I already know this thing's going to be miles better than a cell phone camera. Oh, well, a cell phone can do the same thing. No, BS. If you want to get me... If you want to get me into a rant about cameras, I hate cell phone cameras with an effing passion. I hate them so much. And this is just me filming interviews, and this is me taking pictures of them. Oh, the LG G2 camera is good. No. I don't care how immaculately perfect Apple makes your phone camera. It is not a good camera. Maybe it's good by phone standards, but give me a real lens, please. And hence why I bought this camcorder. Because it's going to record video miles better than any cell phone out there at the moment.
Well, yeah, look at the size of the camera on the iPhone. I mean, it's like a little, it's like a little, like, piece of plastic, pretty much. You can't compare that to, like, a freaking DSLR. Okay, I mean, there's no comparison.
Yeah, real lens, people. It's nice. Oh, but I can't freaking wait to
I will say it's quite impressive how far camera technology has come on phones, though.
Yeah, like, this thing is only $200, and already I'm thinking, oh, what if the picture quality is not going to be good? Oh, is it going to be as good as that Sony unit we had last year? Oh, is it going to be as good as my friend's, expensive camera that, he had since like 2007 or something like that? And then I sit back and I think that Sony camcorder we used last year probably is not the best thing Sony ever made, because you read reviews about how Sony isn't really doing as well as it used to be when they were king of electronics.
Right.
But that thing I thought was freaking amazing, because it had been so long since I've ever used a camcorder. I'm like,
oh yeah,
it's like this thing is amazing. Like it may be mediocre to the professional video review guy, but to a guy like me, that was like probably the most amazing camcorder I've ever used in my life. Even though I know there are things way better than it out there.
It's surprisingly good with low light.
Yeah, oh yeah, man, that's going to be important too, because we're going to be like, so what camera are we going to use here? Because this Canon unit is like known to have some fuzziness issues in low light, and sometimes some of the interviews we had are in low light because of all the TV screens and
that's how most low end cameras go. It's not gonna perform well in low light. But as long as there's decent lighting, I'm sure that camera will be able to produce a pretty decent image. Pretty sure I'll be just fine. But cool. So you guys can expect E3 coverage. Obviously, we'll be going to E3. We don't know the full roster for who's going yet, but I know I will be there for sure. Anthony, I think you'll be there for sure.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you got your pass, so this comes all down to we just got to figure out a couple things.
Yep. Lots of things to plan out for E3.
Yes.
Is it? Man, so much preparation has to happen, and even then, only half of it goes right.
Right.
I mean, I think that's just kind of how business trips work in general. You plan for them, and then half of it goes right, and the other half you have to improvise because something suddenly happened.
Right.
Those are always fun.
Oh yeah, making changes on the move always.
Oh yeah, and because we love technical problems here on the TGA, we definitely have to plan for that.
Yes.
For all we know,
are known for technical problems.
For all we know, whatever building we're gonna be at E3 could lose its power at 1 in the morning, and we're just gonna be like, ah! Yeah, and then just throw a fit.
Yeah, that would suck. That would suck.
But let's not jinx it.
Yeah, let's move on to better things, the news.
Yes,
happy things.
Yeah, let's head on to happy things because today's the day of happiness because everyone loves to make other people suffer via pranks. Yes.
Yeah. So, for Batman Arkham Knight fans, Sony has announced a limited edition Batman Arkham Knight PS4 bundle. It comes in a steel gray. The PS4 is in steel gray. So we've had the PlayStation 4 in black. We had the Destiny bundle in white. Now we have one in steel gray. However, the faceplate, what goes on that covers the hard drive on the PlayStation 4, is designed with a Batman image on it. It's pretty sick. Pretty sick. Like the PlayStation 4 is like steel, and then the light's blue, and then the controller's the same steel gray, and then the touchpad's black. The controller looks really nice too. So the super, super sleek, sexy, really, really nice. So you get the limited edition PlayStation 4, the limited edition DualShock 4, and Batman Arkham Knight for $449.99. So, I mean, it's just like the Destiny bundle. You don't really save any money, but in this case, you're getting a limited edition PlayStation 4. So, I mean, you save $10. That's what it comes out to. You're saving $10, but you're getting a limited edition PlayStation 4. Or, if you don't really care or you don't like the limited edition PlayStation 4, they will be offering a second Batman Arkham Knight bundle that is $399, and it just includes the black PlayStation 4, the black DualShock 4, and then it also includes Batman Arkham Knight. So you can decide to pay $50 for the custom PlayStation 4 or save $50 and go with the original PlayStation 4. Anthony, you've seen both of them. Let's say you did not have your Destiny bundle, which I know you're still a little bit bitter about. If you did not have that bundle and you were going to buy a PlayStation 4 for Batman, which bundle would you go with?
I go with the Batman bundle. That design is cool. I love the color. Like steel metal gray. That's a pretty awesome color. Actually, yeah, I think it's a really awesome color, and the fact that it says Batman Arkham Knight, assuming Batman Arkham Knight's a good game, which it looks
amazing.
It looks amazing, but we said that about a certain other game that also came with a bundle that I bought. The color is awesome though. Is the $50 is the color worth $50 extra? Still debatable, but it looks pretty awesome. I love the color. Yeah, Batman Arkham Knight's a great game, and you're a fan of Batman, which I imagine a lot of people are. I think it looks pretty awesome.
I agree.
The controller also is gunmetal gray.
The controller looks super sweet. With the touchpad being black, that steel gray and black just goes together so well.
Yeah, it's Batman. And you know what? Like, yeah, I actually would probably buy this bundle because, well, I really liked Arkham Asylum. People really liked Arkham City.
Yeah, Arkham Origins wasn't that... It was good, it just wasn't that great.
Yeah, but at least it was good. And it had a good story. And so, yeah, it actually kind of gives pretty good confidence for Arkham Knight. I would buy the $450 bundle.
Yeah, part of the reason why everyone thinks Arkham Origins wasn't the best is it wasn't developed by the same studio.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Gears Judgment, God of War Ascension kind of thing,
Right.
where, yeah, it can be good, but it's not really the same. That sort of thing. As far as the $400 bundle, hey, it's a black PS4. Batman, black. PS4, black.
And
I think it kind of fits.
Excluding the holiday bundles, of course. I think this is the first bundle Sony's come out with the PlayStation 4 at the retail price of $399 that includes a game. Am I wrong? I don't think they've had another bundle that. I think this will be the first bundle.
There was I think PS4 was selling so well they didn't need a bundle. Then the Destiny bundle happened. That was $450. Then the holiday bundles happened, but that included 2 remasters of a game that came out the year before. Or sorry, The Last of Us was remastered. The Grand Theft Auto 5 was a remake, I think, because Grand Theft Auto 5 had a lot of new features that, or at least had some major features that weren't found in the previous versions of the game.
Yeah, like the first person.
Which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either, but...
First-person car driving gives me a bit of motion sickness because of how much the camera wobbles. Yeah. And the car's handling doesn't help. Yeah, I think this is their first bundle that's coming at regular $400 price, and it's an actual new game. This isn't like The Last of Us or Grand Theft Auto 5.
Right.
This is like a brand new, fresh game that hasn't came out before. So yeah, I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
because Microsoft in particular has been like extremely aggressive with their bundles and pricing ever since.
They had to.
They had to, so they don't get punched out of the ring.
Sony's been relaxed on it because I mean they're still selling tons and tons of units. So why take a loss on it when you're gonna sell them regardless?
Yeah, they pretty much had to cut that price to not get Microsoft had to cut the price to not get punched out of the ring effectively. It's like, look. $330 for Assassin's Creed. Look, for like I think it was a white Xbox. I think. I forgot.
I think it was Target. I think it was Target or maybe Walmart. Black Friday. They had an Xbox One with Black Flag and Assassin's Creed. What was the not Unity, but the one before that? Was that Assassin's Creed 4?
Black Flag is Assassin's Creed 4. It was Unity, yeah.
Was it Okay, it was Unity, okay.
It was Unity and there were 2 Assassin's Creed games, I think.
It was Unity and Black Flag. Those were the 2. It was the 2 most, it was Unity and Black Flag, sorry, okay. So for $349, and this bundle was everywhere, but $349, you get an Xbox One, Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Unity. But I think it was either Target or Walmart. On top of that, they included a $50 gift card. Like, they were giving away Xbox Ones on Black Friday. They were giving them away. But they had to do that. And because of that, December is the only month so far that the Xbox One has outsold the PlayStation 4.
Man, I was really tempted to buy one. But it was like, not yet. But they've got me interested. Oh, and they don't come with the Kinect, which I heard the interface is terrible. So bad that you have to have Kinect to make it easier.
I don't agree with that. I only use my Kinect for streaming. The interface is bad, but even then I still don't use Kinect for it.
Okay.
Yeah. But
here's
an idea. I think this actually would be pretty cool. Anthony, let me know what you think because you're a racing fanatic. They should come out with a Forza bundle. And when you turn the console on, it makes the sound of like a McLaren engine when you turn the key, you would turn the ignition, like boom, like right when you turn the Xbox on.
That is so cheesy. That's my opinion. I'm just like, man, I'm awake at 7 in the morning. What's the first thing that I want to hear? A McLaren, and I'm pretty sure some people actually do want to hear that to wake themselves up, but not me.
Well, I mean, we've seen it before. My Xbox 360 is actually the Gears of War one in it. But they did it with Halo. I think they did it with a couple others.
Yeah, Star Wars. R2D2 noises. Yeah.
I think they could. I think it'd be cool if it actually. The problem is like with those other bundles, like you could tell they just use like a cheap speaker, so it kind of sounded bad.
Yeah, that's because on the regular system, the most that speaker ever had to do was beep.
Right.
It didn't have to like play actual audio. So yeah, like it's just like it's gonna be a McLaren, but it's gonna sound like the most tinned out McLaren.
Yeah.
That isn't even real. It's like some Honda Civic pretending to sound like a McLaren and failing miserably. That's what I'm afraid it'll sound like. But no, here's the thing, like freaking like right now they just put out the Master Chief Collection Xbox One bundle for $350. Now granted, their marketing team is marketing and says 4 Halo games. Granted, there are Halo games you've already played. So yeah, but hey, it's a $350 Halo box for you Halo fans out there. But I know this is gonna happen. Like, they're gonna do that holiday stuff again today because they're still lagging behind on sales compared to PS4. And I know that I'm gonna I'm just gonna really consider this bundle because they're gonna put out a Forza 6 bundle, and it's probably gonna come with like a standard Xbox One with no Kinect, and it's gonna have Forza 6, and they're gonna say it's gonna cost like $300, and I'm gonna be like, oh.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a holiday bundle. They'll probably do like a
if
Forza
they say
6.
300, I'm gonna be like, oh man, do I really want to pay $300 for a Forza box? Because I really like Forza.
Wants to go all out like they did this past. They'll probably do something where it'll be like Forza 6 and Forza Horizon 2, and an Xbox One for $300.
Okay, yeah, that would probably get me to buy it. Because here's the thing: as much as I rant and vent about Forza, I still like it a lot. It's like, to me, Forza and Gran Turismo are about the same level. They just are, both of them are just kind of good at different things. Really good at different things. Like, Gran Turismo is more of the physics simulator, whereas, Forza is kind of more like the stuff kind of outside of the physics, like the sound, the detailing, the fact that you can customize your cars in many different ways that you want. I love the fact that I could just put a supercharger in a Mustang, tune the gearbox exactly how I want to, and just blast it around corners, and then when I'm done, I just sell the car and go buy another car, and then do the same thing. Like, I freaking love doing that, and in Gran Turismo, you can't really do that as easily at all, but hey, I love the physics. So Forza Horizon 2, Forza 6 for $300 with Xbox One, yeah, I think that will push me over.
I'm sure it won't do any. It would.
I
do
need
any
the
racing
Forza
fan.
box.
Plus, it's it's a first-party title from Microsoft, so it's not like they'd be losing money because all they would do is they'd make it a digital code for both, so they're literally paying nothing. So they're providing that extra value, but it's not causing a loss to them.
The only loss I could really see is them paying the studio. Like,
well, yeah, but
the normal development costs and wages.
They're funding Forza though, so
yeah, they probably won't make. Yeah, they won't make back as much revenue, obviously, as yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's Microsoft. They freaking make so much money that even if their gaming division takes a bit of a loss, Microsoft makes Office and Windows. They're huge, and they have a gigantic business arm, and yeah, they do a lot.
So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to Batman. Obviously, I already have my PlayStation 4, so I won't be buying the limited edition bundle. But if I did not have a PlayStation 4 already, I would definitely buy that bundle, the limited edition one. It looks so sick, like so sick. So, I actually want to see it in person because they always look better in person for some reason. They always look better in person. So, all right, moving along. It's that time of month where the new PlayStation Plus and Xbox Games for Gold games are announced. So, let's start with PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus, PlayStation 4 users will get Tower of Guns. It's for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3. PlayStation 4, they get Never Alone. On PS3, get Dishonored. PS3 and PlayStation 4, Aru's Awakening. PlayStation Vita, Killzone Mercenary, which if you have a Vita, is one of the best games out on the Vita. So an amazing game. And then also on Vita, Monster Bag. Uh,
So it's Tower of Guns, Monster Bag, and what's the game in the middle again?
what's that?
What were the 3 games? You said Tower of Guns.
For PlayStation 4, Tower of Guns, Never Alone, and Aru's Awakening.
I haven't heard of any of those.
I've heard of Never Alone, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm kind of out of the loop. Like, are those indie games?
Yeah, they're indie.
Okay, yeah, that probably explains why I haven't heard of them.
Yeah, a lot of people were upset from what I saw. Here's the thing with Sony. Personally, I feel like the quality of the PlayStation Plus games kind of went down it's not a steep slope, but a steady slope. I think at this point, the PlayStation 4 has been out almost a year and a half. So I think it's time to at least offer one retail release a month. And I thought that was going to kind of happen when I think it was December or January, they gave it Injustice. I was like, okay, cool. So now we're going to get a retail game every month. And that was the only game to do it.
My personal thought is that it's not so much as the PlayStation 4 has been out for a year and a half. It's more like their library is not really as strong as their sales suggest. Because I don't feel like there were that many retail games. Because in 2014, when we did our Game of the Year Awards, we sat down, and Bronson and I, we literally went on like a giant games release list and
but
looked
there's plenty
to make
of multiplats. There's plenty of multiplats.
Oh yeah, multiplats for sure. But multiplats kind of involve you going to that third-party studio and say, "Hey, can we put your game on PlayStation Plus free for our members?"
Yeah,
like,
but
there's that negotiating part to do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because I highly doubt EA is going to surrender
studios, I'm sure they'd be down for it because I'm sure Sony pays them a percentage based off how many download it. I'm sure there's some type of agreement. And the fact that, like, let's say they went to, like, Ubisoft. No one's going to be buying Black Flag anymore. No one's going to go, oh, I want Black Flag for the PlayStation 4. They wanted to play it. They would have bought it already.
That's true.
Black Flag they could do. They could do a previous Call of Duty.
I imagine
so many games.
I imagine the Xbox One Assassin's Creed bundle is what stopped that from happening, though. Because why buy an Xbox One? You can buy a PS4, get PlayStation Plus, and get that game for, get that game also. In addition to Last of Us and Grand Theft Auto 5.
Right.
That would not be good business on Microsoft's end, so I imagine that's why that didn't happen. I really don't know, though, because I imagine there has to be, like, some negotiation that has to happen, because it's not like, and, sometimes I think third parties don't want their games to, be on PlayStation Plus or Games for Gold, because, well, you think about it, do you think EA really is going to let Dragon Age Inquisition go on the PlayStation Plus store anytime soon?
Oh,
their
no,
games are really well liked, and their games are really well liked, and I'm pretty sure they're still getting decent sales like post holiday season.
Oh yeah, that's far too soon. But I'm talking about like once you've released like a sequel to your game, like that previous game is pretty much like extinct at that point. So like Assassin's Creed Unity came out. Okay, the Black Flag you can pretty much use, or a game that's been out for well over a year. I mean, Sony could even do games like Knack. That's a first-party game. They wouldn't have to go through contracts and all that stuff. That's a first-party game. They own it. They can do Knack. I mean, I don't know.
I feel like sometimes picking games for PlayStation Plus games and Xbox games for Gold, it sometimes feels like the Nintendo Virtual Console. You can't figure out why they didn't bring X game in. Like Nintendo, you sit here and you think, why hasn't Nintendo brought Smash Brothers on the N64 to the Wii until like way after Brawl already came out? When really it would make sense for you to put out N64 Smash on the Wii to hype up Brawl even more, like a week or two before it comes out. That would make logical sense in the minds of gamers like me. But they didn't do that. They did that way after. So, and we don't know why. And then we sit down and we think, oh hey, Game Boy Advance games that you can bring to the Wii U. Well, they didn't really bring all the Fire Emblem games, and they still won't put any Pokemon game on Virtual Console, like one of the main series, but you can get the Namco Museum game. Yeah. So, I have no idea. So it feels like the Nintendo Virtual Console sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, with the PlayStation 3, I mean, even with the PlayStation 3, it's went downhill. Like, I'm used to seeing like they had the Tomb Raider, they had BioShock. I mean, it used to be like they used to have like 2 solid games a month. Even for the PS3, I mean, Dishonored, I'm not a fan of that game, but I don't know, some people like it.
The thing is, yeah, like in the case of the PS3, it's kind of more forgivable because it is now a system that's heading into retirement. Right. It's more forgivable there. On the PS4, yeah, it's more of a concern because one of the things is like you can get free games. And now that we have defeated now that we're way ahead of our competitor, we're not gonna try as hard.
Right.
To give you, it's kind of like that stereotypical company makes lots of money, company's in the lead, company gets a little lazy.
Yeah, and that's why regardless of which platform you like, you want both platforms to compete almost on an equal basis because that means more competition and that means price cuts, better games, more features, companies working harder.
I remember when PlayStation Plus was still kind of a new thing and they were trying to get some people into PlayStation Plus compared to Microsoft, because the Xbox 360 you had to pay to get online, and at the time you had to pay to get Netflix and Internet Explorer and Amazon Prime Video. Yeah, it's really dumb. But I remember it was June 2012, 2011, I forgot what year it was. You had, I think it was Uncharted 2 or 3, XCOM, and Saints Row 3 all in the same month. That was the most ridiculous, that was the most crazy awesome month for free games on free PlayStation Plus games I've ever seen.
Right.
Uncharted, awesome. Saints Row 3, really awesome. XCOM, pretty good game. I'm just bad at it. I know there's another one in there that I forgot, but that was an awesome June because that was perfect. It was the drop. The game drops what's happening. I mean, E3 did happen, yes, but games don't come out during the summer. They rarely ever come out in the summer. If they do, it's only 1 or 2 major ones, and the rest are smaller releases. So the fact that you had Uncharted 3 and XCOM and Saints Row 3 to enjoy the month of June with is pretty awesome. That month was when PlayStation Plus was like, ooh, this is why you want to be a PlayStation Plus member.
Yeah, part of the reason also with PlayStation 4 you have to have PlayStation Plus to play online. Whereas on the PlayStation 3, you get a couple of features in the free games. So they almost had to fight for your money because if you weren't putting out good games, then people would cancel their PlayStation Plus subscriptions. Yeah.
For me, I never signed up for PlayStation Plus because it was I don't game that much on my PS3 as some people, and well, the free games are occasionally good. And yeah, but it was kind of a case of, well, I've kind of thought about PlayStation Plus because of the free games, because that was the only thing. Now, because on the PS3 the online multiplayer is free. On PS4, PlayStation Plus is required if you want to play games online with your friends, like Grand Theft Auto Online, where Bronson and I are complete garbage at heist because we love to screw up and do stupid things, and John and Bremen laugh at us. But yeah, you have to pay for that. So it's kind of like that typical, well, Sony probably doesn't have to try so hard because they got everyone's money because they have to pay to make online work. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see better games come out.
It's the month of April, so what happened in March? Bloodborne happened in March. Was there anything else in March?
I think that's it.
I think that it's been kind of slow. April, I don't know much about April.
No. Wait, the order was February. Never mind.
The order was February, yeah. Well, so there was Bloodborne last month. Okay, that's kind of good. April, the only thing I could think for April is the new Xenoblade on the new Nintendo 3DS.
And for PC gamers, Grand Theft Auto 5, if they haven't played it yet.
Did you see the new screenshots for Grand Theft Auto 5?
Oh my god, I'm buying it, dude.
I know you would buy it. Just play that. The cars look even more crazy, and I'm just
I'm gonna be buying the same game 3 freaking times.
I'm sitting here.
I'm ashamed.
I am sitting here and I'm like, I bought it on my PS3 and it was amazing they got that game to run on the PS3 as well as it did. I got it on the PS4, hey, the game looks like it doesn't suffocate anymore. And then I look on the screenshots that Nvidia posted on the PC version of the game and I look at them like, did they just remake it again? Because I look at it and it's just like, the reflections, the modeling. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Like, I have to buy the game again and go through the campaign for the 4th time now?
Yeah. I'm buying it, man.
I will.
4K.
It's gonna be on Steam, and I'm gonna get
4K.
It's gonna be on Steam, and I'm gonna get suckered into it, and I'm gonna make like my future graphics card cry, whether it's my old one right now or a 960 if I ever get one. And Nick, wow, you are on a dark path here.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's like they need to have a thing called PC gaming therapy because it seriously has gotten to the point, like it's gotten really bad, guys. Like really
you
bad.
Were talking about
I will play games on my PlayStation 3 and be like, man, this game would look and play so much better if it was on PC. Like, why can't this game be on PC?
Crap. And there's a trap. Oh no.
Like,
I'm not joking.
for example, on my PlayStation, so on my Xbox One, I'm playing Forza Horizon 2, right? Game looks gorgeous. And I'm like, just imagine this was on PC, running on my GTX 980. Imagine Forza in 4K. Like,
you know what's gonna happen,
Nick? These are the types of
Nick?
things that are going through my head.
Do you know what's gonna happen?
I'm trying to play it on my Xbox One.
I read your text about how it's just like, well, I'm not gonna let my TV hold my system back, and I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be really, really bad. This is a very dark path here. If you're saying your TV holds you back, because I'm pretty sure it's a nice TV.
Oh yeah, it's Sony's top of the line TV from like 2.5, 3 years ago.
And now then you're gonna go to 4K, and here's the thing, Nick. The GeForce 980 Ti's are coming out. And you don't want just two 980s, you want 60 frames per second 4K. So you're gonna get two 980 Ti's.
Well, no, because then my 980s are useless. So I would just buy another 980.
Okay, because I thought you would probably go for 980 Ti's after that TV comment.
I don't think I'll go that crazy. And
you never know, the performance could be very high.
With my motherboard, it says it supports 4-way SLI, but maybe if you're using like the very small cards, there's no way you can use 4 cards.
Can you do 3-way?
Yeah, I can do 3-way.
Okay, so maybe 390.
It's got the 4 PCI Express slots, but the thing is, the cards are so big that it just would not work. I've looked at it.
That board was probably thinking it would go into an even bigger case because they sell extra big cases.
No, I've got a big case. It's not the case though. It's the motherboard, because what happens is they have the PCI Express slot at top, then they have, the PCI Express 2.0 or whatever they call the smaller version of it. Then they have another PCI Express slot, okay? So that's where I would put the two 980s when I get the second one, okay? There's a little bit of space, and then there's two PCI Express slots right next to each other. So when I put a 980 in there, it's going to cover the other slot.
Wow.
So, because for example, when I put the 980 in my machine, if I put it on the second slot, it covers the slot where I'd put a capture card, for example. So it says 4-way, but I know with the graphics cards they make, like the 960, for example, you can get the 960 in like a slim profile design, but with like a 980, they obviously don't have that because it'd probably freaking melt if it didn't have proper cooling and everything. So 3-way is the worst I can go. So we'll end up seeing what happens. But 2-way SLI, no questions asked, happening this summer. Getting a 4K TV this summer. I'm hoping that DirectX 12 is as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. I've been reading a lot about it. I don't know, man. I'm starting to become kind of a believer because...
Nick, that's because you just spent like $3,000 on your computer. Like, there's the tests that you get in the lab, and then there are the tests that you get in the real world. Usually, the lab is more idealistic.
There's tests coming out from developers with their own games.
Yes, in very specific situations. I mean, well, that's just what I personally think. I'm a little bit of a doubter because it's like, yeah, I could read about how this is unicorn dust, but... I
mean, Windows 10 comes out this summer. We'll see what happens. Yeah,
and it's free.
Yeah, it's free for the first year for Windows 7 and Windows 8 users.
Yeah,
and I'm using Windows 7 because I hated Windows 8. So I have Windows 7. So I will be upgrading for free.
Freaking 7 and 8 and 8.1 get free upgrades to 10, even if it's a pirated copy. How nice is that?
Wait, even if it's pirated?
Even if it is a pirated copy of Windows 7 or 8.1, Microsoft will let you use 10.
Without paying for it? That's what they said. Right.
Well, it literally was an article. I checked. I swear to you, this is not an April 1st thing. This was like a mid-March news story that I found. I'm like, like Bronson said, what Microsoft is doing is that they're trying to saturate as many systems as possible with Windows 10. To get as many systems on board. I don't know how they're going to exactly, I know some people are suggesting maybe it's a trap to catch dudes who are using pirated copies. But yeah, according to the news articles that I've read, Windows 7 and 8.1 upgrades are free not only to those who already have 7 and 8.1.
Here's Microsoft's response on this. Okay, let's see here. Quote, with Windows 10, although non-genuine PCs may be able to upgrade to Windows 10, the upgrade will not change the genuine state of the license. Non-genuine Windows is not published by Microsoft. It is not properly licensed or supported by Microsoft or a trusted partner. If a device was considered non-genuine or mislicensed prior to the upgrade, the device will continue to be considered non-genuine or mislicensed after the upgrade. According to industry experts, use of pirated software, including non-genuine Windows, results in a higher risk of malware, fraud, identity theft, credit card theft, etc., public exposure of your personal information, and a higher risk of poor performance or feature malfunctions.
Okay, so free upgrades with an asterisk.
Yes.
That makes sense then, because I'm like, this can't be right. This is a little too generous. This is a little too good.
Yeah, because then everyone's gonna be like, okay, I'll just download the illegal version and then upgrade to the real version.
Yeah. Honestly, though, like, DirectX 12, like, freaking...
Here's the thing. So this is what I've been reading, and it makes sense, okay? The big thing with DirectX 12 is these, what they call draw calls, which is pretty much the processor and GPU talking to each other, okay? Up to this point, it's been very limited as far as communication between the CPU and the GPU. With DirectX 12, that's completely changing. There's been various benchmarks that have been done, not with software, okay? This is just testing the performance between the CPU and GPU of draw calls being multiplied by 5 to 6 times. Now, obviously, this doesn't necessarily mean 5 to 6 times performance, but at least gives you an idea.
There's less bloat.
What? Yes.
When you tell a video card to do things, there's less bloat to go through. Is basically the gist of it.
Right.
It's pretty darn amazing, because I'm like, why did you guys think of this stuff in the first place?
Yeah. So I mean, of course we'll wait and see what happens. But there's a couple things that have me excited about DirectX 12. Okay. So the first thing, and I know this, and like I said, if you'd asked me this earlier this year, I'd be like, I don't understand any of this PC gaming stuff. Well, now I'm like a PC gaming nerd. Like I don't understand everything, but I know quite a bit. So there's a couple reasons why I'm excited for DirectX 12. And this isn't speaking on theoreticals or speaking on benchmarks. These are actual facts as far as to what DirectX 12 does. So obviously, more draw calls in less amount of time. That's a big plus. The second thing is, so on my PC, there's a program called Afterburner, and it pretty much shows you your CPU usage, GPU usage, temperatures, blah, 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 blah. Everything you could want to know about your machine. It overlays it while you're playing a game. So you can see like the exact frame rates and all that stuff. I used it when I reviewed my card. That's the program I used for tracking all that stuff. So the big thing was CPUs. So for example, I just bought an Intel 5820K i7. It's got 6 cores. When I'm playing a game and I have Afterburner on, only about, and it doubles it, because obviously with the thread, so there's 12, okay? Of those 12, I'd say really only 3 to 4 of those are even above 50% usage, okay? Only 3 to 4 of them. So with DirectX 12, this is part of the reason why I bought a 6-core processor versus a 4-core. Right now, 6-core versus 4-core doesn't make a big difference for gaming. It does for video editing and graphics modeling and stuff like that. But for games, it does not make a big difference. With DirectX 12, that changes because it gives the developers the ability to access all cores of the CPU. So now you're talking about your processor be able to be used significantly more than ever before. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, if you're running SLI like I am, so for example, they just came out with the Titan X. Titan X, as far as performance, is not better than two 980s put together. Two 980s will beat a Titan X. The one thing a Titan X has over it, though, is the video RAM. It's got 12 gigabytes versus the 980, which only has 4. So up to this point, if you have two 980s in SLI, it is still only 4 gigabytes of video RAM. It does not add it together. With DirectX 12, that changes. So now if you have two 980s, you have 8 gigabytes of video RAM. Okay, that's another big thing. Another big thing with DirectX 12, and obviously AMD and NVIDIA are going to get involved and not let this happen, but just a little side note out there. With DirectX 12, it is possible, because of how it works, that you could technically SLI, or AMD uses Crossfire, NVIDIA uses Sly. You could take an NVIDIA and an AMD card and have them work together. Just because of how
that sounds pretty freaking awesome.
That's how DirectX 12 works. I'm sure AMD and NVIDIA will be against this in some way, because I don't think they would allow this, but it's possible with DirectX 12. So you have a high-end AMD and a high-end NVIDIA, and they can both be working together.
I do have a question, though. Can a DirectX 11 card that was made in a DirectX 11 days run DirectX 12?
Okay, so that's a good question. Yes, but it will not support all the DirectX 12 features. So starting with the 969, the Maxwell architecture, so 960, 970, 980, and Titan X will support all DirectX 12 features. They are the only cards on the market right now that will support every DirectX 12 feature. The only ones. AMD doesn't have anything out yet, but I'm sure AMD is going to announce something relatively soon. There's a lot of rumors about it.
Very soon, yeah. Well, question. First generation Maxwell or second generation Maxwell?
What's the first generation?
The first generation is the 750 Ti.
Okay, yeah, no. Okay, it's only the 9 series, so...
Okay, because I have a GeForce 840M, which is a first generation Maxwell.
Yeah, like I said, these will... Going back to like the 660, all these cards will support DirectX 12. They'll all support it.
It's just limited?
Yes.
That's still an improvement over nothing, and if this like whole 200% improvement thing is true, that's still like maybe a good 50% bump.
Right. I mean, look
at this old ancient stuff. Which, if it's true, hey, 50% is pretty darn freaking awesome. Still.
Right. So
it's just not Unicorn does like 200%, but 50% of hell, I take that one.
Well, yeah, there's been various benchmarks. So, like I said, the 960, 970, 980 Titan X. Those are the only 4 cards on the market right now that will take advantage of every DirectX 12 feature. So I'm already set. I got my 980. I'm good to go.
Okay? Man, I thought I was a PC guy.
When the 980 was announced, they were big on it. DirectX 12, DirectX 12, DirectX 12. Like, NVIDIA is very smart. NVIDIA would not be so behind it if they didn't believe in it, okay? So there was benchmarks done by a site. Okay, they took a 960. Now, of course, it was overclocked, but still, regardless, a 960 overclocked on DirectX 12, and then they took a 980 on DirectX 11, and the results were pretty much right in line. So the 960 was pretty much performing equal to a 980 by going to DirectX 12. Pretty intense. Which means that the 980 at that point is probably exceeding the Titan X.
I feel like the minimum system requirements rulebook is going to get rewritten the moment DirectX 12 comes out. Because all of a sudden, if you get a 200% improvement, all of a sudden you have so much more headroom to make your games look even more beautiful, and now you're like, let's rewrite the minimum requirements because our game looks too good to not run DirectX 12.
Maybe.
I mean, again, like DirectX 12 is going to help give the 11s a boost somewhere. Like if it's like 200%, I mean the 11s need to get at least 50 or something, and even 50 is pretty darn amazing. Granted, on low-end cards, that's not really saying anything, but still. It'll give my 550 Ti some new life that I don't need to buy a new graphics card yet. Or maybe I do, because it's old.
Yeah, I would say that, I mean, obviously these benchmarks are being done with the latest cards, okay? So these are NVIDIA's latest cards. They obviously fully support DirectX 12, so if you're going to really reap the benefits, you're probably going to need a new graphics card. However, if you don't have the latest card, you should still get a performance increase. How much? It'll vary by card. I mean, there's so many different factors that go into it. But, I mean, yeah, you don't want to believe that DirectX 12 is as big as it's being hyped up to be. But you research, every company, like developers, the NVIDIA and AMD, they're all praising it. They're all praising it. It's not like you have developers coming out, oh, it's just smoke and mirrors. Like, no, you don't see that. It's all over the place. People love it. Absolutely love it. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it's looking very promising. Very promising. Even
I just sit here and I'm just thinking, man, why haven't they thought about this in the first place? Because it's like 200%. This is like discovering a new gold mine.
Right. Even Project Red, the team behind The Witcher 3, they've already come out and said that they're going to release an update for The Witcher 3 with DirectX 12.
Which means I don't need the world's most ridiculous Skynet video card to run that game on good settings. Hell yes. Thank you. Man,
yeah, like with the 960 terrible. At 960 when the game first comes out, you might be able to run that game on like medium at like maybe 30 to 40 frames per second. But with DirectX 12, you might be able to run it on high at like 40, 50 frames per second.
Because I am not the world's biggest PC enthusiast, and I actually kind of like thinking game consoles more right now, I'm like, obviously, this is going to give the Xbox... Now, the Xbox One currently actually has some DirectX 12 features, just not all of them, because it's like some special version of 11 with 12 bits in it to optimize it and make it run better. So once the full DirectX 12 is going to come in, it's not going to get like 200% fairy dust or anything, but it'll still get the improvement. So I sit here, I'm like, what is Sony going to do? Because you told me about their ICE team, I think you called it.
Right. That's what they call it.
And you know, their executives promised under no condition whatsoever will PS4 ever be slower than Xbox One in terms of raw performance. Ever.
I'm sure Sony has their own thing going on.
Yeah, because here's the thing, like Sony's like a manufacturer of electronics in a way. They sell electronics. Microsoft sells software. They've got an entire operating system's arm, like Windows. Like that, I feel like that's the case. That's like Microsoft's advantage. They got an entire operating systems division. They've got a gaming division. It's like Microsoft's a software juggernaut, basically. So it's gonna be really interesting. I feel like it's really interesting how I start hearing all this stuff about DirectX 12 and what magical performance it has, and I remember this happened just after Mantle. That's what AMD tried to do. They had this thing called Mantle, which tried to do a similar thing.
Which is becoming Vulkan.
Yeah, which I'm sitting here now and I'm thinking, with DirectX 12, I don't think Mantle's relevant anymore. Which kind of sucks because AMD did anything they could.
Isn't. Pretty much AMD gave up the technology. It's called Vulkan now, and it's being given to some other API developer. So that's the thing to keep in mind, guys. Like, isn't like all you hear about is DirectX 12 because that's the big one. It's being provided by Microsoft, huge company. But all of these API developers are doing this. So there's Vulkan, there's several others. All these companies are doing it. Why now? I don't know. Maybe there was some technical bottlenecks up to now. I don't know why. For some reason, Mantle kind of started it, and now everyone's doing it. DirectX 12 is announced. DirectX 12 is almost out. Now everyone's doing it. So there's been various video game personalities because they're not hosts, but people involved on the development side. And they're saying DirectX 12 is going to forever change the PC gaming market. And it's not just one guy, not just two guys. I've seen like 4 or 5 different guys say this.
Again, I sit here and I'm like, why hasn't this been discovered earlier? It's like,
who knows?
I'm sitting here and I'm just like, John's PC is going to have new life to it. Every semi-decent gaming system out there is going to have new life into it.
Supposedly, if the rumors
or not, because
if this stuff is correct, pretty much if John were to play a DirectX 12 game, he would be performing as good as I am right now on my 980.
Yeah, and
which
that's
is
kind of
nuts
scary
because that's a big jump. That's a huge jump.
Here's the thing: it's like it's gonna breathe life on new PCs, but then of course because there's so much more headroom, all the PC games are going to become a lot more extreme, and therefore put the older cards back in their place, to say in a slightly blunt way.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, man, is this like the future? I don't know. I didn't really research into this very much, but wow.
The more you research about, the more excited you get, man. I'm just like, I can't freaking wait.
You built
obviously,
to someone like me, it's exciting. Like to someone like me,
you're not going to install Windows 10 and go to DirectX 12, and all your games are going to perform better. That's not how it's going to work. The game has to utilize DirectX 12, so I do want to make that clear.
Yeah, but I highly doubt Final Fantasy 14 is going to use it anytime soon. Yeah, I mean their new expansion is going to utilize 11, so I don't know what this current version is running right now. But anyways, yeah.
I do hope though that a lot of the developers end up releasing updates for their games with DirectX 12 support. I really hope they do, because there's some great games coming out this year.
No, they will support it, because obviously when it comes to PCs, there's obviously this, my game can look better than yours, kind of keeping up with the Joneses sometimes.
They want to be the benchmark game.
Because you think about it, Rockstar is going to be like Grand Theft Auto 5 DirectX 12 patch.
Oh my god. That shit's gonna be. Then I'll be able to run that 4K.
The Elder
4K
Scrolls
max,
6.
60 frames per second.
The Elder Scrolls 6 on DirectX 12. Actually, you know what? That's not. Maybe that's not the right way of looking at it. What's a highly intensive PC game that's really popular? Crisis 5 on DirectX 12. I'm trying to think of PC games that actually like. Civ 6 on DirectX 12. Bam. Wow.
Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5. Well, the thing is that in that case, I actually have to keep in mind also on the consoles. So, like the thing is that when you design a game that's on PC and consoles, you get kind of like, okay, is it a version that's ported down?
Xbox One's going to be using DirectX 12. So
yeah, but the DirectX...
For example, during that big conference Microsoft had about Windows a few months ago, where they announced like the virtual thing... Yeah. They said that, so they displayed a race in Forza, and it was Forza Motorsport 5 running on the PC and DirectX 12, and they said it took them, I think, 2 or 3 guys, and it took them a couple weeks to get it working on DirectX 12. So supposedly DirectX 12 is super easy. Like if you have a team of guys, especially if you have a decent team,
2 to 3 geniuses, right?
Oh yeah.
You gotta remember this is Microsoft, okay? They employ geniuses to make stuff.
Well, yeah, most of these teams are a lot more than 2 to 3 people, though. So
those teams at Microsoft are also a lot smarter than the average developer in the field.
Oh, right.
Because I know they have interns, but do you think, because it's like, oh, you're gonna make Windows? Well, obviously you don't hire average developer, you don't hire average programmers to make that stuff.
Right.
Just throwing it out there.
So I mean, but if you have a team of 50 people, then you can probably get it done in 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 people to do it in like a week or two? That sounds like a school project.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a full-time school project, I should say.
And when they showed that, I was like, well, I wasn't at the time, but now I'm like, okay, so it takes you guys a couple weeks, huh? So you're telling me that Forza 6 is going to be on PC, right? That's what you're telling me, right?
They won't. They have to sell Xbox Ones because here's the thing. PC gaming is awesome, depending how you do it. But at the end of the day, look, I built John's computer, and I got it going the first time. But we ran into a couple snags that probably a lot of people, the average consumer is probably going to think, well, why can't I just buy an Xbox One, plug it in, and go? Or how about I just buy a PC built by a company, and have it done and go? It's like building your own PC is a lot cheaper, yes, but even I ran into a couple snags building John's system.
Right.
Yeah. But, wow. DirectX 12.
Yeah, like I said, I'm reading all this stuff, and literally everyone's praising it, but still has that little doubt of mind in me. So, I don't know, we'll see what happens. It comes out this summer. So,
when it comes out in the real world, we will see.
So, I would say probably we might get a couple games end of this year that fully utilize it, if not next year, and then we'll probably get some games that have updated versions with DirectX 12. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows?
I mean, it's like one of the only PC games I play is Final Fantasy XIV. It's like, guys, please put it on DirectX 12 because I really, really, really kind of want your game to look awesome without having to spend too much money on a new graphics card. Please, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So if you're building a PC anytime soon, I would highly recommend, like, if you don't have much of a budget, at least go with the 960 because you're gonna want to utilize DirectX 12 as much as you can. So,
and if you're an AMD fan, I'm sure they'll come out with a card soon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's be honest, AMD is not going to just give up because if they do, like, freaking their graphics division is probably one of the only few things that's sort of going for them. So, yeah. Cool. The raid is coming back, guys, we swear.
We've been saying that for like 2 months now.
We've been saying that for 2 months, but according to, the text I got, okay, it's happening tomorrow night. Okay, hopefully, maybe, we'll see.
All right, moving along.
Moving along.
We just cannot keep PC talk out of this show.
We just lost like half our viewers or listeners at this point.
Well, here is a reason why you should play Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PC. No, I'm just joking. So
it looks better. Here's a screenshot.
Yeah. So
did you know that on a PC you can do this stuff called PowerPoint and word processing and internet and typing and editing and you. Oh, man.
So, while Rockstar's released these absolutely freaking gorgeous Grand Theft Auto 5 screens, and as ashamed I am to say it, I'll be buying Grand Theft Auto 5 for a third time. I bought it for PS3, I bought it for PlayStation 4, now I'm buying it for freaking PC.
Do you know?
Because the game looks so freaking amazing, but the other part is going to fully support mods. That game is going to be so freaking awesome with mods. Look at Grand Theft Auto 4. Like, do that in Grand Theft Auto 5?
Mods, which means more cars, which means I don't actually. Did they say specifically what mods you're allowed to make?
Because I have not researched that.
Is this the case of can they build an extra city?
Who knows?
Mods. Texture mods. That was a thing in Skyrim. texture mods. So yeah, using all 8 gigabytes of that DirectX 12 memory. PC talk, I'll shut up. But yeah, mods, more cars, more pedestrians.
While that is happening, not so much good news on the consoles. Patch 1.0.
Is this? Are we dissing on consoles now?
Well, not dissing, but this is a fact. So, Rockstar released patch 1.08 for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and I actually think it came out for all versions, but the impact we're talking about is on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions. So it added heists to the online mode, which has been wanted forever. However, they downgraded the graphics. There's been various videos, screenshot comparisons comparing the 1.0 version or launch version to 1.08. It's pretty drastic. The draw distance isn't as far. The textures aren't as high of quality. The shadows aren't as accurate as before. So you may ask why they're doing this. Well, there's a couple. Rockstar didn't come out and say why, but there's a couple speculation points. One, supposedly the game runs a lot better now. Supposedly the frame rate's better. So they did it so that the game runs smoother. Because you got to remember, guys, they didn't completely rebuild the game from scratch. So it's not fully optimized for the new consoles. So there's only so much they can do. Like, they're pretty much just scaling up their settings. So here they pretty much scaled it down a little bit so you get better frame rates. I haven't tested myself to validate that, but that's supposedly what people are saying. Who knows? Some people are speculating that maybe it was just a mistake. But I highly doubt that, considering the fact that whenever they send an update, they have to get it approved by Sony and they have to get it approved by Microsoft. So I'm pretty sure they would have caught on to say, hey, did you guys mean to lower the visuals? Because it doesn't look as good. So, Anthony, I know you've been playing Grand Theft Auto 5 recently. Have you played it since the 1.08 patch?
I only got the game... I only started playing the game, like, beginning of March. 1.8 is the latest patch, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I noticed that 1.07 and 1.08, I think, were like the patches that fix GTA Online, is what they said.
Well, yeah, but 1.08 added the heists to online. That's new.
Oh, okay. I'm
curious to know if you've noticed a difference or not.
I have only played the game for like maybe a week or a week and a half by the time the heists came out, I think. So I don't remember much about what the game looks like before, but there is one thing that struck me as really, really, really odd, and that is when I play in the single-player mode, vehicle damage does not happen.
Yes, that was another thing.
It happens
People have noted that the vehicle damage has been reduced greatly.
It's either reduced I mean, on the PS3, it's there. In Grand Theft Auto Online, it's there. But when I go in Grand Theft Auto single player on my PS4, all you get is scratches and broken glass and fallen off bumpers. So whenever I crash a semi into a car, the car would look structurally intact except for the fact that it lost a fender and has broken glass and the driver in it got hurt. That's it. And I'm just like, what did they do? This is really odd. And that is the one big thing I noticed is like, there's no damage. It's just really, really light damage. And car smoke. That's it.
Yeah, that is one thing that people have been noting, as well as the car damage has been greatly reduced. So, yeah. As well as, I don't know what this necessarily means, but anisotropic filtering has been turned way down, whatever that means.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
You didn't study up on that. Like, what is anisotropic filtering again? It's like some, you ever heard of that texture filtering that's like bilinear, trilinear, that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, the anisotropic is like higher than trilinear.
Got it.
I forgot what it does. It's been a long time. The last time I looked at a setting ever like that was like Flight Simulator 2004. That was like the last time I ever tinkered with a setting and actually looked into that.
It's also reduced supposedly the parallax occlusion, so bunch of things here and there that have been toned down. Here's my view on this. This wasn't a mistake, which I don't think it was. I think they should have done some similar to what they did with Infamous Second Son. So with Infamous Second Son, they had the ability to lock the frame rate at 30 frames per second. It was an option. I think they should have done the same here. Like, I understand we don't want to go turn these consoles into PCs, but maybe just have a quick option in that it says higher frame rate, lower quality. Lower frame rate, higher quality.
2 settings. Easy.
Yeah, like
simple.
Don't make it like PC where you can change every freaking thing in Earth.
Maybe you want your game to look better. Maybe you want your game to run faster so you can, shoot better. Makes sense.
It could just be an easy switch. Better performance, better visuals. That's simple.
Simple, yes, easy. And freaking and this isn't like, oh well, it has cell. No, these are like laptop parts. I mean, that is a really bad way. That's a really cruel way of describing the PS4 and Xbox One's tech, but they're kind of high-end laptop parts, basically. Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of want to play it. I haven't played GTA on the PlayStation 4 in a while, but I kind of want to download the patch and play it just to kind of see if I notice the difference. I probably won't just because, or I may. Like, the things like card damage, that was definitely in there. There was card damage, so why they would have removed that was kind of weird. But, yeah. But I won't have to worry about that in a couple weeks because I'll be playing on my PC. I'll be playing it maxed out, 1080p, and then when I get my 4K TV, 4K. Be freaking sweet. Moving along. We covered the Evolution Studios layoffs not too long ago, which is quite sad. But despite the layoffs, they are still supporting the game. Still supporting the game. And this actually has me a little bit excited. Okay? Because I really, really want a MotorStorm. Really, really want a MotorStorm. And with this news, probably won't happen, but they're offering, I won't even say it a middle ground. Middle ground, I mean, I'd say it's like quarter ground, okay? It's a quarter of what I want. They announced that in Drive Club, well, I think they released it today, there's a buggy. So now you can drive a buggy in Drive Club, but that's not, like, that's cool. But what I really am excited for is that they announced that they're going to bring, like, dirt and, like, kind of simulate that MotorStorm experience in Drive Club. It's not going to be a full MotorStorm, obviously, but they're going to bring elements of MotorStorm to Drive Club.
Wait, they're going to bring what to Drive Club now?
MotorStorm buggy. So they're hold up 1 second, okay. 1 second, guys. I might just have been duped. 1 second.
Wait a minute.
I'm reading that this was, oh god, no. Please tell me it's not true. Please tell me this is not a prank. I'm gonna get pissed. Hold up. 1 second, guys. I am reading this right now. I thought I validated everything. But let me just double check. Okay. Okay, so it's not. Okay, so Drive Club developer Evolution Studios is celebrating April Fool's Day with free DLC. Available now is a special Wombat Typhoon buggy from MotorStorm.
Okay. Is the buggy real for the game?
Yeah, it says Evolution Studios tweeted, quote, "It's April 1st. Drive like a fool in Drive Club," end quote.
Okay, then.
But I think the thing about bringing like a dirt track, I think that was the joke. Okay, never mind. I'm not that excited anymore. Boom, 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 boom. Like, yeah, adding the buggy, that's cool, but it's not I just want MotorStorm, guys. I want MotorStorm so bad. So bad.
Well, it's alright, Nick. At least you can drive a Lamborghini in Drive Club now.
Yeah.
They finally put it in because I remember when I did the Drive Club review, I said, yeah, Lamborghinis are absent. And I noticed that about a quarter or a third of the comments were like, no Lamborghinis, no buy. And I'm just like, whoa. Because, yeah, apparently if you don't have a certain manufacturer, it will cost you sales, apparently. Yeah. Like, Porsche is a good one. I mean, you had roof as a substitute, but it's not the same. Anyways, yeah, you can have Lambos now. Rejoice! Problem solved.
Or you can drive in a buggy. Or you can drive in a buggy if you want to.
Or you can drive in a Motorstorm buggy on pavement, because there's no off-roading in this game, which kind of defeats the point. I'm really curious now as to how good that car looks in Drive Club, because you know how they say they spent so much time detailing everything.
Yeah. Maybe...
So yeah, I'm curious about the Motorstorm.
You have to check it out and let us know next episode what you think of the buggy.
Yeah, I just need to remember to download it. I don't really play Drive Club that much now. Oh,
cool.
Man.
So the last... Sorry, what's that?
I mean, it's just like, oh man, it's just like Drive Club is being supported with a new car. Yeah.
Cool. So, moving on, the last news story I've got. Insomniac Games has been active on Twitter recently. As you know, they brought out Sunset Overdrive, which was kind of big news because Insomniac Games was working very closely with Sony. They did Spyro, they did Crash Bandicoot too, didn't they? I think they did Crash Bandicoot. Or was that? No, they did Spyro. Sorry, they did Spyro. They did Resistance. They did Ratchet and Clank. So they've always worked closely with Sony. So them to come out and work exclusively on the Microsoft side, that was kind of weird. Well, they've come out and there's been a question regarding Ratchet and Clank, and they said we have no information to give on Ratchet and Clank for PlayStation 4 besides it's coming along well. So that's good. So hopefully we'll hear probably at E3 information on Ratchet and Clank for the PlayStation 4. It'd be really funny. Like Ted Price was on Microsoft stage last year. Maybe he'll be on the Sony stage this year for Ratchet and Clank. Who knows? They're really releasing any information. Obviously, they were asked about Spyro, and they said Activision owns the Spyro IP, so obviously they have no control over that. And then there was a question asked, is there any plans to release a Resistance collection on PlayStation 4, or any plans to make a Resistance 4? And they said Sony would make that call. They own the IP. We don't do remasters or ports. We have no plans to develop Resistance 4 either. I personally would like to see a Resistance 4. I'm a fan of the franchise. It got better with every... Like, Resistance was good. Resistance 2 was really good. Resistance 3 was awesome. So I'd love to see them take another shot with Resistance 4. But it just doesn't sound like that's probably going to happen.
Wasn't that... oh, wait, that was Killzone. Never mind.
Yeah. Ratchet and Clank, I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Ratchet and Clank's always awesome. I'm sure it'll look gorgeous on the PlayStation 4. So...
yeah, it would, actually. Really cool what kind of world they could make with the cartoon look that they got.
Yeah, once again, like I said, it's so bad. Like, at this point, I'm diagnosing myself with a mental disorder. Like, it's bad because right when I said that, in the back of my mind, I was like, but if they put it on PC... oh, man. This is awful.
Nick.
This is awful.
You need therapy.
The bad thing was I was playing...
Stop.
I can't remember... No, really
you need
quick,
intervention.
Really quick. I'm completely drawing a blank. I'm not remembering what game it was. But ever since I've started playing on my PC, because at this point, like, every single game I'm playing on my PC, I'm doing 1080p, maxed out, 60 frames, no problem. No problem at all. No game is giving me issues. The only game that I can't run consistently at 60, but I can run consistently at, like, 50, so pretty close, is Assassin's Creed Unity. But that's because that game's... the optimization's awful on that game. But it still looks gorgeous, and like I said, very close to 60. It hovers around like 50, sometimes 55, and then sometimes it gets above 60. But now when I play games on the console, like games in 30 frames per second to me look bad. And it freaking sucks. Like, I'm like, what is this? It's like PC gaming is like ruining console gaming for me. Like, it's bad.
Nick, you need help.
It's
You see,
bad.
we're gonna be at E3, and then you're just gonna diss on Nintendo, and me and Bronson are just gonna stand there like, Nick, please.
No, it's gonna be like more like the freaking Night Dogs will be showing us the next freaking Uncharted. I'm gonna be like, game isn't smooth.
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought. I'm just like, actually, Nick wouldn't diss on Nintendo, but every interview question is not going to become a PC related question.
Yeah, would you guys ever
it's just like
consider bringing
like
Uncharted
Nintendo's gonna
to the PC? Would you guys ever consider it?
Like Nintendo's gonna come out with like the next video game console, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna ask a lot of questions why it's not a PC in any way. Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah, it's getting worse. You need some help.
It's very bad. The problem is I don't think they have professionals for this disorder. That's the problem. It's a very rare case that I've caught. Actually, it's not a rare case. I've been reading a lot on the internet. And there's a lot of gamers who refuse to play consoles because they say it's so inferior to the PC. So inferior. And I kind of understand what they're saying now. Like, if you're playing a game, it's one thing if the game doesn't look as good, but 60 frames per second, that's kind of fine. But when I'm playing a game, it's like around 30 frames per second, I very much notice it now. Much more than I ever noticed it before. Like, before, it didn't used to bother me as much, but now it bothers me. So, which worries me, because it's going to get even worse during the summer. Because then I'm going to be playing all my PC games in 4K. And now when I play my console, oh god, I'm going all the way down to high definition. Ancient 1080p or 720p? You're telling me I have to play a game in 1080p?
Nick, I feel like your brain is going to explode if we dare plug a Nintendo 64 or PS1 to your TV. Like, to me, it's like, I don't care that much about 60 frames. It depends. If it's a sports game, yes. If it's a racing game, yes. If it's like a game like Mass Effect or The Order, probably don't care as much.
Oh, after playing Assassin's Creed in 60, oh man, I can't imagine playing it and not.
Yes, because everything is oh so smooth. But still, I'm just like, ah.
No, in like first-person shooters, oh man, if they're in 60 now, forget about it. Like, forget about it. Man, it's an evil thing. It's an evil, evil, evil thing. So, as I said, it's only gonna get worse. I'm gonna be playing in 4K, and Uncharted's gonna come out, and everyone's gonna be talking about how good it is, and I'll be like, Uncharted looks alright. It's, you know, it's not that smooth. The textures aren't that good, and everyone else will be like, oh my god, this is the best looking game ever. God, it's awful.
You need help, Nick.
Yeah. So bad.
You need help.
Just a couple months ago, if you would have told me this would happen to me, I would have said, you're freaking crazy. But it's consumed me, man. It's consumed me.
That's because you actually have a budget that can you know, sustain this kind of dark path.
I'm going to say that
like, I don't.
Because I've done some research on some of the stuff people are doing, and I do not have the budget some of these people do. Okay,
you spent like $3,000 with an upcoming 4K TV.
No, this guy I was looking at has freaking 4 4K monitors, and he's got 4 Titan X in his machine. He's
look,
using
Nick,
4
I'm saying
4K displays.
Look, Nick, I'm just saying, like, even the computer you built is way more than a vast majority of people would ever spend in their computers. Okay, like, even, like, I can't spend three and a half grand on a system, not to mention I flat out can't have a $3,000 computer and a 4K TV in 3 months.
Yeah, well, I would say I'm definitely on the high end, but I am not close to, like, the top tier. You research what some of these people are doing, and I don't even compare. These people are going nuts.
Like yes, but that's like the very, 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 very top. Like, where you're like at is pretty darn high over too.
No, okay? This one guy, it was literally like a freaking 180-degree angle. Like, It was like the curved displays with 4K freaking monitors. Unbelievable. And they were all like G-Sync monitors. And I was just like, his overall thing was like $15,000. I'm like, that's a freaking car.
Well,
that's a freaking car.
You know that dudes like to spend lots of money on cars too, right?
Well, yeah, it's just these guys rather spend that money on PCs.
More affordable than cars, but still, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, $15,000 gets you like the best PC setup you can possibly get, but $15,000 with a car just gets you like a decent used car. Or you can get a nice used car for 15 grand. So yeah, much more affordable. Versus a car, you want the best of the best, you're talking over $1 million. So big price difference there. But yeah, man.
Steering away from PCs.
Yeah, The Witcher 3, man, I can't wait. Witcher 3. I'm gonna see. Here's the. I keep debating. I think I'm gonna push to get my 4K TV by The Witcher 3. Witcher 3 comes out middle of May. What it comes down to though is I'm not buying the 2014 Sony. I'm buying the 2015 4K, like the latest. Because if I'm buying a new one, I'm gonna get the latest and greatest.
Of course, because you need the latest and greatest to go with your recently built latest and greatest. Of course, right?
Yeah. So that's gonna be.
Nick,
that's the thing. I hope it comes.
This is a dark path.
I hope it comes out in time for The Witcher 3. Because then I'll debut my 4K gaming with freaking The Witcher 3.
You're gonna need a 4K capture card to show anybody how this is gonna work out, right? Because you can't just point a handy cam at the TV and say this is 4K and nobody can tell the difference.
Doesn't Nvidia let you capture it in its native resolution with the GeForce Experience?
Yeah, that's gonna be one colossal file upload to YouTube. I would just say that much. But yeah, I think you might want to check. There could be archiving in there.
Yeah, I'll have to check. But that's what I'll do. I'll run it in 4K, and I'll probably. That's the thing. I don't think our video host supports 4K.
You're gonna have to use YouTube.
Yeah, I know YouTube supports up to 4K 60 frames per second now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't think it's public yet, but there's various videos that do 4K 60 frames per second on YouTube now.
What kind of file size do you have for that to work? Not to mention,
a 2-minute video is probably close to a gig.
Like, not to mention, does anybody have the upload speeds to do that? Besides, like home upload speeds, like freaking. Like, I know yours is fast, but I'm pretty sure it takes a while to upload anything.
Yeah. For me, like, when I upload stuff, I'd say I can upload a gigabyte in like 20-30 minutes. So I have relatively fast internet, but my download's crazy fast. But.
This dark path.
But I'm going to have to capture that and put it on YouTube just so I can tweet it out and be like, guys, this is what I'm rocking.
PC Master Race.
Technically I could do that now, though, because technically some of these games, like, for example, Borderlands 2, I'm running that game in 4K right now. It's just that I don't have the 4K display, so it scales it down, but it's still rendering it in 4K. So technically, I could capture these games in 4K. But
this is a dark path.
I want the display though. Like I said, my TV, it really I'll play a PC game and I'm like, man, my TV's holding me back, man. My TV is holding me back right now. I'm like
dark path.
Yeah. It's bad.
Like, unlike you, I have a Core i7 computer. It is a graphics card away from being high end. I have lived with this graphics card for 4 years, and it's not even that nice. It's only $150 in 2011. I've lived with this thing for that long. I don't know, oh man. I imagine when I visit your place in E3, if that ever happens, you're just going to show it to me and I'll be brainwashed into the cult or something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then goodbye savings.
I'm going to have to show you all the 4K greatness.
And then goodbye to my savings.
Then Anthony will end up getting 2
Bronson's building his computer. John has his computer right now, and he loves it. I like my computer. Bronson's going to build a rig. Bremen's not interested. I don't think Tori and Stephanie are interested either.
Until he... Well, maybe we can get Bremen on board if he comes to E3. Maybe we can schedule it. Maybe we can have you guys like come out like a day early, and we can just have like
schedule a brainwashing session. That's great.
You know how crazy it is during E3 with doing stuff outside of E3, but you can come an extra day early, and we can just spend a day at my place admiring the 4K greatness. And then you guys are gonna go to E3 and be like, these games look like shit.
Excuse me, sir. What DirectX 12 technologies have you
about Uncharted like it's the greatest thing ever? The game does not look that good.
Nick, that is bad. You need help, like right now.
Yeah.
That is not a good question. Just like, what DirectX 12 technologies are you using in Far Cry 5?
Yeah, exactly. And that's gonna be the question. Will this game support DirectX 12 on PC? That's gonna have to be my question for every PC game coming out.
Just like, what are you going to ask Nintendo?
Nintendo, so you've bought your games to mobile. How about the PC?
They're probably gonna ask you to answer that question out.
Yeah.
This is a terrible path. This is a terrible path.
The funny thing is, like, just a Google search, man. Just a Google search.
Yeah, all of this because forget. Yeah, the Google search. Oh,
curiosity is a bad thing, man.
I mean, I can't remember the last time Google got me really hooked onto something, but Google definitely did help me figure out maybe this Canon camera is actually pretty good. And oh my goodness.
Like, let me just explain what this is. Here's the problem. Like, it's bad, okay? So, I play console games, and every game I play, I'm like, man, this needs to be on PC. Like, I was playing Madden the other day, and I was like, Madden in 4K? That would be so sweet. And then actually play my PC, and I'm like, okay, this game looks freaking amazing. I'm running in 4K. My TV's not 4K. So now it's like I'm getting 4K. So now I'm gonna get the 4K TV, and what's it gonna be next? Like,
it needs another 980.
Oh man,
that's what's gonna happen because you want The Witcher 3 to run at 4K. You're gonna need a 980, and maybe even that's not enough to get it to 60 frames a second. So there's gonna be 3 980s, and then at that point, I can't think of anything else you would want to do to that system other than give it 980 Ti's. That's like the only thing left.
But then my 980s go to waste.
Yes, but you don't have to worry about that for another year.
Another year.
Only a year. Yeah. Shocking, right? The wait. Ugh. This is a terrible path, Nick.
Yeah, so just where I stand this summer, what's definitely happening is definitely another 980, because one 980 isn't going to be enough for 4K. But 2 980s will. At least now. For now and probably a year or two, 2 980s will do the job. From what I've been researching, because the Titan X does 4K really well, and 2 980s outperforms the Titan X by like 20 to 30%. So maybe 2016 I'll buy another 980, and then I'll have 3 980s, and then at that point I'm pretty much maxed out because, like I said, I can't add another. Or I could just replace the motherboard, and then I could get a 4th 980. I don't know. That's bad. Because here's the thing. Like, I'm at this point where I'm like, yeah, I don't even have to think about the settings. Like, I don't have to think about it. I crank everything up. Everything goes up to the highest setting. Don't even have to think about it. In fact, I use GeForce Experience. I say, give me recommended game settings. I check. It maxes everything out. Everything. So there's no thinking about it. There's no, oh, does this make it look... No, I don't have to do any of that. It just does. Because of the power I have in my machine. But the day that happens where I'm like, okay, I have to turn this setting off. Then I'll be like, oh shit, I need to upgrade.
Nick.
So
you need help.
Yeah. So NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, if you guys want to work with us, please contact me. We will be more than happy to work with you guys. Because, yeah, we'll be more than happy to cover your products. More than happy. So, because I'm getting into this freaking habit where it's going to become unsustainable in the future.
Okay, Nick.
This is a story I'll never forget. What a Google search can do for you. What it
that
can do.
is just terrible because now I'm really worried about what Google searches are going to do to the rest of us. Actually, did you know what a Google search did to me? Actually, that actually brought it. Do you know what a Google search did to me?
What?
I started looking up parts for my car. That is a stupid dark path on its own. Granted, I don't have the funds to buy any of it right now, nor to have them installed. Not to mention I have to double, triple, quadruple check to make sure that it isn't going to break anything. But I looked up stuff for my car. Because what young aspiring agent doesn't? So yes, that's its own expensive path. Oh man. Yeah, so Google search did that to me. So, and then of course you're probably gonna laugh at me because while I get to laugh at you for spending like $3 grand on a PC, you're gonna laugh at me for spending like $5 grand on my car for stupid reasons that don't make it go any faster. And no, I assure you, it isn't a stupid spoiler. Because I do not want a big spoiler on my car.
I hate when people do that.
It's like it would be a factory spoiler, like a small one, not a big one. Because the big one, it's like that doesn't do anything except make the car look a little dumb. I don't know.
Right.
But yes, that's what the Google search did to me. I'm looking up like freaking stupid things for my car that make zero sense, like exhaust and small spoiler and intake. And rims and wheels. Sorry, rims, wheels, tires, maybe brakes. Ooh, how about I need new floor mats?
But yeah, the PC gaming thing has become quite intense, guys. So we'll definitely have to work that out.
I feel this is going to trickle down onto the site to the point where we're like, we don't cover the PS4 anymore. What are you talking about? This is called the PC Access now.
Yeah.
We're all going to be brainwashed into the personal computing cult.
We definitely got to try to figure it out where we can get you.
Just hearing this now kind of makes me think, oh, so this is why the PC people are so hung up on the freaking master race stuff.
I totally get it now. I 100% get it.
It's like peasants. Why don't you join us masters? And I'm like, this sounds suspiciously like racial superiority, except I'm glad that it's an internet joke.
Right.
Like, you know, the term is a joke, but it almost sounds like racial superiority sometimes.
Right. We have to get you guys out here a day early, so we can just spend a day playing games on my 4K PC and TV.
Great. I hope you have some multiplayer stuff.
Yeah,
I can bring my PS4 controller for that.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that stuff out. But yeah, so that's the story about my PC. Hopefully, like I said, the only thing that would hold me back having it in time for The Witcher 3 or E3 would be if Sony doesn't release their new TVs by then. I'm definitely waiting for their 2015 line. And I already know which one I'm getting. It's not their top of the line 2015 model because that has like super high-end speakers built into the TV, and I don't need that. But it's
Home
gonna be the
cinema sound system to go with your 4K TV.
Right.
That's going to be the next thing after the video cards. You're going to be one of the only people who actually would invest in a home cinema sound system instead of headphones.
I don't think so. I'm not a big audio guy, so
Really? Because if you're gonna go through that whole effort of making your games look as freaking amazing as possible, just like how the movie guys make their movies look as freaking as possible, why don't you have a sound system that has a bass that shakes you when the freaking 4K explosion goes off?
Yeah, then I'll get calls and complaints to my leasing off to the apartment people.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Hey, this guy's having parties every night. Then I get a call. Sir, we're getting calls. You're having parties every night, and they're loud. I'm like, no, that's just me playing on my freaking sound system.
You like it? You should check it out.
Yeah, I'm giving everyone a demo every night. What are you talking about? They can see how awesome my sound system sounds. I don't know why they're complaining. Forget sleep.
This is a dark path.
Yeah.
Right, that's 40 minutes. I don't know how long we were on that, but...
Well, at least it was the end of the podcast when we talked about this.
Yeah, all the important news is out of the way. I can't find any news because, let's be honest here, this is the wrong day to be looking up news.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty sure whoever did the news section back in 2003 on April 1st was like, yeah, there's no way Square and Enix are together. Wait, they are? For real?
Yeah.
April 1st, 2003.
Yeah, like the Kojima leaving Konami thing, like if that was legit and announced today, no one would believe it. Not a single person would believe it.
No one would believe it until the day after, when the company said, when the rumors actually it's still true. If they're still saying it on April 2nd, okay, then you can have a good suspicion that it's oh wait, it actually is true.
Right.
Oh man.
Cool. So let's go ahead and anything before comments and questions?
Not really. There's not really much today because well, yeah, it's first. Hey, the Otakapalooza panel happened at the University of Nevada this past weekend.
Oh yeah, how'd
we were
that
there.
go?
It actually went pretty well. We tried to get the audience involved. We probably could organize it a little better, but for the 2 hours that we did pretty good. We had a pretty consistent audience size, so that was also great. Lots of things we talked about. Embarrassing moments. Asking ourselves video game crush stories. Yeah. That was something. But anyways, the audio file is on the Gamer Access website. So if you want to listen to what we said during the panel and other trivia games that we played, go ahead and listen in. Unfortunately, on the latest episode of Unscripted Access, episode number 122, we did not have any questions or comments.
Oh wow, really?
But Nick's 4K gaming PC article did.
Okay, let's talk about those then.
We'll talk about those then, since we're already down this terrible path. Great T says, I've heard a lot of good things about that headset, but this may have closed the deal for me.
Yeah, so Kingston, when you think of gaming companies, Kingston's far from the company that you necessarily think of. But I got a deal package. So I was buying Kingston's DDR4 RAM, which I also covered there. And there was a deal with the headset. And I was like, well, I'm going to need a headset for Twitch. There was a good deal on it. I was reading good reviews on it. Let me go ahead and get it. Very impressed with it. Very, very impressed with it. For a headset that's around $100, it's an amazing headset. It's not going to be your $400 Astros or Turtle Beach, but for $100, pretty hard to beat. It's super comfortable. That's my main complaint with a lot of gaming headsets is you have them on, they're just so uncomfortable. These are super light, super comfortable, and the build quality is super good. The audio is really good, the highs and lows, and then the microphone's really good. So if you're looking for a headset around $100, I highly recommend it.
Cool. I don't use headphones for some reason. Partly because I usually
don't either. Mainly it's just for Twitch, to be honest.
Yeah, for me, it's I'm told dude, headphones are so good because you can get 5.1 surround sound, and the over the ear instead of on ear can be very comfy, and you get all that great sound quality, and you're not bothering anybody else. All yours for couple $100s, which may sound like a lot, but it sure beats the price of having a home theater system.
Right.
So that's the big selling point of the 5.1 or 7.1 over-ear headphones, which I can understand that. I don't know how good it is to wear them for long periods of time, because I actually like hear stuff like, did you know that because putting earbuds in your ear for long periods of time, and maybe headphones, because of that, the air within your ear gets moist and therefore bacteria levels go way up because of that?
Well, I think that's less of an issue with headphones though, because
because the
in your
earbud,
ear.
but it's just something.
That's pretty gross though.
Yeah, well, that's what I was told, because and I don't like ear-in-ear stuff, because obviously these things are not perfectly formed to the curvature of your ear, so earbuds make your ear ache after like an hour. So they're only good for like short-term use, and that's it. Hyatt says, I wish I had the money to buy a rig like this. I think that's the biggest reason why why lots of people can't have these systems. That's why I can't have this kind of system. I don't have the money for it.
Yeah.
$3,000.
Yeah, it was an investment, that's for sure. So.
Yeah.
I'm very much enjoying it.
Of course you are. That's what we talked about for 40 minutes, about how you don't want to be held back, and how every question at E3 is going to become, so what DirectX 12 features are you supporting in this? What frame rates did you get with DirectX 12 in benchmark testing in the upcoming Windows 10 release? and I'm just going to be standing there, and I'm just going to look at my camera. I was like, we probably need to upgrade this handy cam, because that's going to hold back our video quality while we're at it.
We're just going to always be looking at the bottleneck and be... we're just gonna be like, we have to cycle. We're just gonna look at the weak link of our entire website, so we're gonna stare at my new camera and be like, that thing is not 4K.
And then we're gonna look at our handheld microphone and think, this is not good enough. And then we're gonna look at my car and say, this isn't good enough. Then oh god, we're gonna show up in a limo again, aren't we?
And then we're gonna be like, Anthony, you're not wearing freaking Armani.
That's the thing. We could go to E3.
Anthony, you paid under $50 for your boxers. What?
See, this is a dark path, because if the PC Master Race isn't good enough, the rest of your life has to revolve around that kind of mental thinking. Yeah.
It's bad, guys. It's bad.
Yep. And then we're just gonna.
I can contact for help. Please let me know.
Yes, you need some intervention. I feel like the only thing that's stopping you from going completely full out is budget.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
if money wasn't an issue, I'd have 4 Titan X's in the machine.
I'm pretty sure that with a lot of people out there, if money was not an issue, they would have everything. They would have a Wii U, they would have a PS4, they have an Xbox One, and all the important games across all systems, and they would have a bitchin' PC to do awesome streams with and all that kind of stuff. If everyone had all the money in the world, then they would have a new 3DS, and they would have a Vita to sit in the closet, for historical purposes. Not really for gaming purposes, that.
They'd buy the Batman limited edition just to keep it in the glass display case.
Yes, there you go. Your house is not a house; it's also a museum of gaming. Honestly, though, speaking of museum of gaming, I imagine that I actually keep all my old game systems. Some people obviously throw away their old PS2s. Because they don't see them too valuable. Some people sell their Wii's because their Wii U's can play all their Wii games and they transferred everything. Some people give up their 3DSs when they go to a new 3DS. A lot of people would do that. But I keep all my stuff for some reason. This PC, it's gonna be really interesting when 20 or 30 years down the line, I plug it into a wall and just be like, hey guys, on this Gamer Access special, we're going to turn on this 20-year-old PC that I built in 2011 that edited most of our content from 2011 to 2016, 2017. Wouldn't that be a crazy historical segment?
That'd be pretty crazy.
It's just gonna be like, and yeah, that's gonna be really crazy. And this was Nick's $3,000 computer, supercomputer.
Now my phone is more powerful than.
Now phones are more powerful. Like freaking cell phones now are faster than this 9-year-old Windows XP I have in my closet, which I keep around because I want to play some old games from like 10 years ago. Because obviously there's gonna come a point when Star Wars Battlefront 2 on PC can't run on new PCs anymore. Like I think it can still run on Windows 7 if I try, but I don't know if it's gonna run on Windows 15 because compatibility becomes a problem. Like there are some games like that I threw away and I wish I hadn't thrown away because I couldn't run them anymore because they were Windows 98 games like flat out can't work on XP. So I threw them away and I wish I didn't because there probably could have been some way to emulate Windows 98 to get myself playing my first video game. I threw away my first video game. That's how little butthurt I am about it.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't throw my games away. Unless they're really bad. I think the only video game I ever sold was Need for Speed Most Wanted. The new Most Wanted, because I just didn't care. Yeah, that was the only time I ever cared. Like, I even kept the bad games.
Yeah.
I so wish I didn't throw away my first 2 video games. That is probably something I'm going to regret for a long time. So probably what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to like rebuy Need for Speed 3 off eBay or something. And then figure out...
get it pretty cheap.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's the case because it's my first ever video game, and so there's obviously a lot of sentimental attachment. It probably is not the best racing game, but it's obviously the first... It's what got me... That's what got me into racing games, is because my first video game was a racing game, and it had a 1997 Lamborghini Diablo SV, and I think the Diablo is my favorite Lamborghini to date. And Need for Speed High Stakes, love that one. Made me initial fan of the Porsche 993 Turbo. I still have Porsche Unleashed. That's good. That was back when Need for Speed games were actually good, guys, and wasn't some Fast and Furious loaded BS.
Mm-hmm.
That was back when Need for Speed was good, and Underground was good too. Underground 1 and 2 were pretty awesome also. Very radical, but pretty good. Probably should play those games again. I probably should do a retro review on those games. I keep telling myself to, but Anyway, yeah. But actually, I was a PC gamer from 97 to 06, I think. It wasn't a good PC. It was a really shitty one. It was a compact computer that had surgery along the way.
Good old compact.
Compact before it was bought by HP and then died. It was a compact Presario. I remember those. That was my very, very first computer, I think, was a compact Presario. It was my uncle's. He bought it in like 95, I think. It had a Pentium 1 with 90 megahertz.
Oh my gosh.
And it had, I think, 32 or 48 megabytes of RAM. Came with a 1X or 2X CD drive and 800 megabyte hard drive. And half a megabyte of video
800
RAM.
megabytes. We now have... Oh my god.
No, Microsoft Office ate up a third of that hard drive, let me tell you. Like Office 97 ate up like a quarter or a third of that hard drive.
800 megabytes.
Yeah, and it had half a megabyte of video RAM. Yeah. Yeah, that was in 1995. That was 20 years ago. And it ran Windows 95, which actually ran alright for its time.
Wow. But yeah, like, you guys might think we're joking, but we're not. 10, 15 years from now, the iPhone or whatever the phone is then will be more powerful than my machine. Crazy to think about that, but it's true. The iPhone 6, I can't remember where I was reading it, but I think they were saying that the iPhone 6 was on par as far as power with the MacBook Pro in like 2008. So not even 10 years ago, we have an iPhone that's on par with a MacBook Pro. Pretty insane. So yeah, in about 10 to 15 years, we'll have a phone that has a graphical power of a 980 for a phone.
Yep, for a phone. Tech is amazing. 30 years ago it was it was an NES, Nintendo Entertainment System.
The calculators today, like those graphing calculators, are more powerful than the supercomputers that used to take up an entire room back in the day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's easy. Hey, did you know your calculators...
I think I was reading that the phones today, like the iPhone 6, is more powerful than all of the computers in the world. Like, I think it was like 20 years ago or something like that. One iPhone more powerful than all the computers in the world. Like 20 years ago.
Tech is amazing, isn't it? There's this quote from, I think from the founder of EA, and I learned this through Civ 5. Tech gets cheaper, it gets faster all the time, and it gets cheaper all the time. Yeah. Freaking amazing. It's awesome. Sweet.
I mean, scary to think about it, like...
Freaking a 1995 compact Presario.
We're talking about building machines with artificial intelligence with human properties, which that I'm very scared of, because that's iRobot waiting to happen.
That is iRobot. You can tell it will never hurt a human, but there's going to be some loophole in the logic, because here's what you've learned about
AI. Or computers have these things called glitches.
Yes, there's this thing called glitches. There's this other thing called the computer is only as smart as the programmer is able to make it. Because this is why artificial intelligence in games is so stupid. It's because, you know, the most AI games have is, oh, if A do B, if B do C, if C do D. It's like anybody who's played MMOs knows this. There's these things called phases. There's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. If boss is at 50% health, he will do this next. If boss is at 25% health, he will do this next. AI is really stupid, but now there's a scary thing that one day I think will actually make it into games if some research team is willing to do it. Machine learning. So you know how games, there's like, okay, do this trick and you will win? Like, do this and the AI will act in this way to help you defeat it? What if that AI could learn that most of the people that are playing against it keeps doing the same thing and it learns how to counteract that? All of a sudden, your guides are useless. Because this thing is learning. I mean, granted, there's probably only 10 different ways it can react, and you need a guide for each way it reacts, but you don't know how it reacts because it's actually looking at you and paying attention and reacting like a human would. All of a sudden, your game just got a lot harder and a lot more interesting. Isn't that scary? A AI in a game that can learn what you're doing and react accordingly. Holy crap, scary.
Very scary.
I imagine in the future, if Blizzard or whatever MMO company comes up with it, they will probably come out with some super hard boss fight that learns what players are doing as the fight progresses, so it's never the same as you do it, because it is just like a human. It will react.
There's games that claim they do that, but it's not.
Right now, no. Right now, what you have to do is go to a university research team and ask them about machine learning. That's what you need to do to have your AI actually even have remotely close to like human type properties. Just to have it learn. Actually, there's a scary system that I forgot what it's called. If you dump it like 1 million or 1 billion words from like Wikipedia or something like that, it can actually come up with grammatically correct sentences, even though those sentences sound hilariously stupid.
That's still scary.
Yeah, the sentences make 0 sense at all, but they are proper, grammatically correct sentences. Like, they use verbs correctly, punctuation correctly, nouns correctly, that kind of stuff. The sentence doesn't make sense.
I'm sure the adult markets are going to love this.
Adult market?
People will have legit
Alright, guys, we're going to have
virtual
machine
girlfriends.
Learning. We're going to have, like, human AI with HoloLens. Thank you. Goodbye.
Like, you know how...
Done.
It's going to go beyond that. Like, you know how usually the older generation is like, people don't talk anymore. All people do is text on their phones, blah, 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 blah. Well, now it's going to be like, and when we're old and we're talking about the generation, they're gonna be like, back in our day, we used to date real women. Now it's gonna be freaking guys designing their dream women, and they have real conversations with women.
No, I'm so done. I am so done. In a future where you don't drive anymore. In a future where your food isn't real
soon. That is very soon. They've got plenty of prototypes that are working just fine.
I live in a state that allows testing of autonomous cars, okay? Google works out here. We're gonna have cars that don't we're gonna have cars that drive themselves now. We're gonna have women that don't look real. We're gonna have people, women and men that aren't really real anymore. We're gonna have, oh man, there's a lot of things that you could say that are borderline political about this. Man, creepy future.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a world where the wall you see is not truly real anymore because it's a HoloLens wall. Your reality has now slowly become the Matrix. Think about that. That is a really scary reality right there.
That's very scary.
Oh man. It's gonna be really creepy once they augment all that headset kind of stuff into your eye lens, because now not everything you see is truly there. That video screen,
and adult film is gonna take off with that idea.
Holy shit! And then imagine if your stuff gets hacked.
Oh god! You're in a business meeting and all of a sudden you start seeing dicks flying everywhere.
I'd say worse.
You're in a boardroom and you're having a conversation and demoing something, and someone hacks it, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of dicks just freaking flying around.
I could imagine worse than that. I can imagine worse than that. Just you're driving, assuming that autonomous cars haven't gone away completely. Assuming that autonomous cars haven't taken over completely, and you can still drive your sports car as recreation. What if you're driving along with HoloLens in your eye, you drive along the road, and all of a sudden a giant dick lands on the road and blocks the road off completely, and you swerve, and all of a sudden you hit something on incoming traffic. Oh joy. All because you thought you saw a giant dick and the other driver didn't. This stuff is
I'm sure they're not
technology,
gonna allow. Yeah, but you shouldn't be wearing the HoloLens while you're driving.
Well, I'm assuming it is in your eye. Kind of creepy.
In your eye. Oh, yeah.
Kind of levels of creepy. Freaking the medical field is coming up with nano machines. You know that stuff in Metal Gear 4? They're actually working on that to, help fight diseases and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's scary.
Well, we know what Metal Gear told us. We know what it told us. It's going to be used for, what did they call it again?
I don't remember.
I forgot what they called those private military companies in Metal Gear 4. I forgot what it's called. That is a scary future. Oh, man.
That's what we have to look forward to, guys.
This is a dark podcast. First we talk about how this website is going to descend down the terrible path of PC gaming, and now it's the future, which is worse.
It's very bad.
Honestly, I think I would rather go for the really expensive computer. At least the really expensive computer, at least your computer would be the ultimate home editing machine. I would be really happy to have that kind of editing power, if I'm honest. Freaking,
right.
What was it? It's like 6 cores with 12 threads.
Yeah.
The i7. Yeah, that would be the dream editing rendering machine for my house right now. for home. I would just be yeah, look at it, our 1080p videos are rendering so fast, and I actually probably would need some system like that if we're going to step up to 4K in the near future, which we probably will, because considering the trickle effect from the top, and then all of a sudden it's no, that Canon camera's not going to do. We need 4K for interviews. And then it was well, we need to edit 4K, but then I need to build a $3,000 PC to render 4K in a reasonably fast pace. Oh no! This is terrible.
So bad. So bad. Okay. Anything else? Were there any more comments, or was that it for that post?
Yeah, that was all for that post. Let's see, Jaceway. Jaceway says, I have yet to see 4K gaming in person, but I'm pretty sure it's absolutely amazing. A lot of parts to make it happen, though. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I will be doing it in a couple months, so I could be doing it next month if Sony releases their TV. Like I said, if they release, I will go on record to say, if Sony has their 2015 line of 4K TVs on sale in time for The Witcher 3, I will be playing The Witcher 3 in 4K. Because I'll have my 4K TV, and I'll have another 980. I'm already ready.
We've already talked about this, Nick. You need help. At least I am sane with my purchases.
Hey, I'm sane too. I'm sane for someone who wants to game in 4K.
Really?
I could go.
That's like saying I'm sane
for Titan X.
That's like saying I'm sane for someone who lives in a multi-million-dollar house and has a Bugatti. Granted, you're not really quite up there with Bugatti, but what you have is probably a Lambo. Okay, that's still way out there.
I have the entry model Lambo right now.
Yeah, well, I think what you built is an Aventador, not a Hurricane.
I'll have the Aventador once I put the second 980 in.
Good, yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want the Bugatti, you're rocking 4 Titan X with 2 processors.
Yes, exactly. And 4K 2 and 4K G-Sync monitors, really?
And 128 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM.
I don't know why you
that
need
exists.
that. I don't know why you need that. I'm sorry. It's not even future-proof because that system is going to have out-of-date instruction sets by the time or something.
I got 32 just to cover myself. Because especially if I'm doing 4K, I don't want to have to worry about the RAM. So 16 would have been more than fine, but 32 covers me.
Okay. Got it.
Oh, it's not. And keep in mind, I have almost a terabyte SSD. So
at least that isn't the most crazy thing these days. 5 years ago, for sure. Yeah.
At least nowadays, I didn't set up a 4 SSD RAID array, RAID 0 with 4 SSDs.
Okay. Stop. We're done. I'm so done now. Okay, you're just coming up with reasons to make it faster. You say your MacBook runs on RAID 0, and I sit there and I just why do you need that? SSD is already really, really fast without the RAID 0, but you apparently needed it on your Mac for some stupid reason. Why? Why do you need that?
That was the reason why, because I bought this when the Retina MacBook came out. This is the reason why I bought the non-Retina. Solely because I wanted to RAID 2 SSDs. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Okay. Well. Oh.
By the time I die, I'm gonna have my own. I'm gonna have a new shoot, maybe relatively soon. It's being called the McCandless syndrome. It's gonna become a real thing. It's gonna become a syndrome that's diagnosed to people like me who don't have limits when it comes to tech.
Yeah, that's gonna be great in the medical books.
The McCandless syndrome.
McFresh
CEO,
syndrome.
Owner, and founder of the GamerAccess.com was the first person to be diagnosed with what is now known as the McCandless syndrome.
McFresh syndrome.
McFresh.
I think McFresh works better because it just kind of fits the McFresh lifestyle of you don't want to be held back in any way. Oh no, that camera's holding me back. It needs to upgrade. Oh no, my car's holding me back because I have a 4K TV and this really nice camera. If I drive just a regular V6 convertible, let's get a V8 convertible. But
that game just dipped down to 58 frames per second. Time for an upgrade.
No, it needs to be 120 frames because you need to take full advantage of that 120 hertz refresh rate. Oh man, do I really want to look at that now?
Oh man. It's gonna be amazing, guys. Thing is, it's only a couple months away. For all the console gamers, you're looking at least 5 to 6 years to get to where I'm gonna be in 2 months, assuming Sony's TV's out then.
We're gonna have to stop. This is cool. I just bought a camera for $200. Can I just please at least appreciate this piece of product I bought and not just feel bad about it, please?
Yeah, you know what's bad? So we have the Sony TVs. I mean, the Sony stores here. So a couple weeks ago, I went to the Sony store, and I looked at one of the 4K TVs, and they obviously were showing like one of the Blu-rays, and I was like, oh my god, my games are gonna look like this. Hell yeah, it'd be freaking amazing.
Okay. That's all the comments that we have on your PC article.
All right, guys. So another PC festive episode.
Things
The
are
raid's
slow.
coming back.
It's April Fool's Day.
Yeah, it's coming back for real this time. So, unfortunately, I will not be on the first episode because they're supposed to be recording tomorrow night, and I will be unavailable tomorrow night. But I gave you my taste of PC already. So, I'll do my best to be on the second episode. Well, not the second episode. The second returned episode of the raid, and we'll talk about craziness. And then when I get my 4K, that episode's probably be all dedicated to my 4K experience. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be going nuts, and probably will look down on my PlayStation 4 and Xbox One like, why did I buy you? You're so dated. Your tech is so lame.
If you ever want to give it to me, your old stuff, yes, please.
They put Forza on PC, I might consider it. And Gears.
I mean, like, this counts for, like, the rest of your computer, too. Okay? Like, if you ever think, man, this graphics card is outdated, I'll happily take one. It's site material. I kind of need... it's like, you know, if we're going to go down this terrible path and we need more people to do PC games, I kind of need more power to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Just spread the PC corruption throughout the staff via parts.
Yeah, because if they announce it's not going to happen. If they announce Forza's coming to PC, absolutely won't even think about it.
I don't really think that's going to happen. They need something to sell Xbox Ones.
Yeah, it won't happen. But if it did,
like Halo was on PC. Like Halo 1, well, it used to be.
The original Gears of War was too, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, like Halo 1 was on PC way back in the day, which made sense because, you know, you had no idea how it was going to do. Halo 2 was on PC also, but that was during the Windows Vista days, which is weird because that was years after its release, and it was a Games for Windows Live kind of thing.
I remember Games for Windows Live.
That was a terrible thing. I used it like only once ever, and I'm like, eh. I think the only thing I ever did on when Games for Windows Live was like Microsoft Flight, and then I just stopped.
Oh, we've got a very important news story. Totally important. PlayStation Home is no longer.
That's not a joke. That's actually true. They shut it down like before today.
They shut it down March 31st. So I would like to hold a ceremony for all the pedophiles and the people who fantasize about virtual women in home and went on virtual dates. And I know it's a very sad day for you. I'm sorry. Sure, some other company will make a competitor. I know Second Life's out there. You might have to make a radical change in your life. But PlayStation Home is no longer. Oh.
Yep.
The commencement has ended.
Okay.
I'm so sad, guys.
PlayStation Home. Like, you wonder why Sony's losing money. PlayStation Home, I kind of look at them and it's like, what was the purpose of this? Like, I
PlayStation
think
Home was supposedly profitable. I think it stopped being profitable. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gotten rid of it. But it was actually profitable because of all the advertising in Home.
it was profitable at one point. Yeah, because I just remember like when the PS3 came out, it's like PlayStation Home, a virtual world where you can meet up people before HoloLens. And, you know, the thing I just remember about Home is just like, it's basically supposed to be a social gathering place, but I never really understood that concept because it's like, here's an apartment for you. But your apartment has nothing but the most blandest, it has like stylish chairs that, you know, just about everyone else on PlayStation Home has. Okay. You can buy furniture for your room, which today you can't
buy
see.
mansions.
You can buy mansions, which today you can't see anymore. Because it's gone. Aww. What else was in PlayStation Home? They had a bunch of little movie theaters where you can watch trailers, but a quick YouTube search is faster than waiting for Home to load. Yeah, YouTube search on your computer or phone is faster than waiting for Home to load for you to watch a compilation of trailers. What does they have?
I don't know. I really want to see this movie trailer. Oh, you can do that in PlayStation Home. Great. It'll only take me 30 minutes to see it.
Yeah, I have to load PlayStation Home, wait for it to load my apartment, then go to like the freaking social gathering area where the chat box is spammed with things I don't care about. Yeah. What else? They had games I didn't care about. They had video game Sony themed places. They put the Star Wars Cantina there. They put the I don't remember. So I didn't care much about the games. I didn't care about the trailers. I didn't care about interacting with people there. And yet people still used it, so I'm like, huh, that's interesting. I think the only time PlayStation Home was ever really cool is when they would model their E3 booth into Home.
That was cool.
And if you did all this, and if you did the checklist that they asked you to do, they gave you a free month of PlayStation Plus. That was the one super awesome thing about having PlayStation Home. It's for that once a year E3 thing that they mocked up, which is I think pretty awesome because you're like, oh, so this is what the journalists saw during E3, except I get to see all the stuff.
Yeah, you get to see it in real life now.
Yeah, I get to see it in real life, but most people don't. So I felt like it was pretty awesome for them to actually experience the exact layout of that E3 booth virtually. So I was like, man, that's a great idea. I love that. I love that so much. And you get free PlayStation Plus for checking things out there. So, you know, hey, they're giving you an incentive to do it too. That's nice.
Right.
And then I stopped caring immediately after that.
Which is funny because I was at that E3 and everyone who went to the press conference got a free month of PlayStation Plus. So that's probably why they did it, to give you like a similar experience.
You remember the 2011 Microsoft Connect
press
conference?
Yes. The best press conference ever.
Yeah, it was the best ever because they gave you a free Xbox to make sure all the journalists feel okay afterwards.
That was the E3 before I made my E3 debut with the limo and everything. And I would have been at that E3 if it weren't for my age, because I missed it by literally 2 days. To this day, I will never let that go. I missed it by 2 days and they wouldn't let me go. Because you had to be 17 or older. I missed it by 2 days.
Wow.
Imagine being a 16-year-old, pretty much a 17-year-old, dreaming of going to E3, and you actually reach that dream, and then you're told no, because your birth date's missed by 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah. It was... I can't tell you how pissed I was. I was pissed forever. And I was just watching on TV, and I'm like, I should be there. I should be there. But then the next year, I went crazy.
Yep.
I went all out.
Yep. Man, like that Microsoft press conference, it was like, oh man, I always keep thinking this. Oh, our press conference is so bad. I know you all hate us because you're video game journalist enthusiasts, so here's a free Xbox.
Oh yeah, your conference was awesome.
Oh, your conference was okay. What to the rest of us, it actually makes it worse because it's like, so is this a bribe now? It's like, here's our new Xbox Slim. Everyone in here gets one for free. Thank you. Connect is okay.
Don Matrick days. Don't you miss him?
the stupidity that guy had was unbelievable.
I know you're talking about. Don Matrick was the best gaming CEO ever.
He did have a solution to your problem. If your problem is an always online console, here's a solution. Buy an Xbox 360.
That was.
I can't believe he said that.
That was unbelievable.
I understand people who don't have internet, like those who live in nuclear submarines. Yeah, like if I had a nuclear submarine, I would understand why I wouldn't have internet. And I just sat there and I'm like, what? This guy is just giving ammo to Sony to give them the massive super rocket launch for the PS4.
Maybe Zynga secretly hired him undercover, and Zynga is making this move to like take over Microsoft. So they paid him a ton of money to pretty much ruin their brand. Maybe that's what happened.
At least Don Matrick went over to Zynga, and then Phil Spencer did a pretty darn better job now.
Phil Spencer is the perfect guy. They couldn't have picked a perfect guy, a more perfect guy to run
Phil
Xbox.
Spencer, at least from what I've seen at E3, he's pretty chill.
He's a gamer.
Yeah.
He's like legit.
Yeah, he's pretty chill. He's like, we like to thank all of our competitors, Sony and Nintendo, and now we're going to present to you 90 minutes of games. And I'm like, what?
Well, yeah, it's like when the PlayStation 4 came out, 'cause the PlayStation 4 came out right before the Xbox One. When it came out, Microsoft, on their Xbox Twitter account, they tweeted like a congratulations to Sony. But what did Sony do when Microsoft Xbox One came out? They tweeted out an image that said something along the lines of all our games run in 1080, or like all of our games run in real HD, or all of our games run in 1080p, or something like that.
I feel like Nintendo is like, Sony is just like feeding off that energy of a bit of trash talking. You know, just like giving the energy, and everyone's just like, oh, Sony's one of us. Sony's one of us. Kind of things.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of how people work, is that you're like, oh, yeah, you're in the PS4 club, or you're in the Xbox One club. And obviously, you don't want to admit that you bought the quote-unquote wrong system, so you just say, oh, yeah, they're one of us. Yeah, this is why the PS4 is awesome. It plays all my games at real 1080p until Final Fantasy 15, which runs at 900p.
Right.
Final Fantasy 15 actually does not run in full 1080p, I found out. Or at least the demo that they gave out. Because they said that they had to lower the resolution slightly to put in more special effects similar to Sunset Overdrive and Halo 3. Which is an interesting decision. So, as you can imagine, some people, like, say, PC fanatics, laughed and said, wow, you got 1080p systems that can't do 1080p on this, that this game can't run 1080p on. LOL. And then they'll wait like 5 years and they'll get Final Fantasy 15 on PC eventually, just like 13. Yeah. There you go.
All right, cool. Anything before we go ahead and close this show?
Yeah.
All right. With that said, please be sure to follow us on Twitter at Gamer Access. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Gamer Access. Follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/The Gamer Access. We've been streaming. We're back to streaming. Sorry, it's just I was out for a few weeks, so I was not able to stream, but we are back to streaming on a consistent basis. So thank you guys for supporting us. Look for, we actually have we're bringing back the raid, and we have another show that we're going to be bringing in, so look out for that in the sometime future. But other than that, Anthony, any last words for you?
This week, hopefully we're going to try and stream Hearthstone Heroes of Warcraft. Last week we ran into a technical difficulty where Shadowplay just for some reason broke on both John's and Bronson's system, so we did GTA Online instead. But hopefully Hearthstone may happen again this week. Also, check out again our Otaku Palooza panel. Check out the latest episode of Play God, the game of arting. This week it's Stephanie drawing Jinx from League of Legends. Check out Super Mega Awesome Go Playtime. Bronson Ranch should be up by now when you're hearing this. Check out his episode on his retrospective on the PlayStation Portable. And that includes the PSP Go. Because, you know, people love to make fun of the PSP Go, I think. And yeah. Oh, and if you're hearing this on Friday, our comic's coming tomorrow. And if you're hearing this on Saturday, the comic's today. And if you're hearing on Sunday, the comic's on Saturday. And okay, that's our content promotion right there.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for listening. We're gonna go ahead and close it out. Peace.
Bye.